Minister, I just want to set out that this is, no doubt, is quite a complicated issue. It spans over probably 4 or 5 decades, and it's somewhat opaque in relation to interpretation that the care that should be given to our citizens. And in this case, it was long-stay nursing home care. And I suppose the central tenet to the critique which the Attorney General kind of set out was that, and I think, and others would argue that those that were obliged to be given care were subjected to imposition of charges in relation to their care. And I think that's, as I said, it's open for interpretation. And some families went to court, some others didn't. Obviously, that's in relation to resources, in relation to them families. And there's no doubt that families went through huge financial hardship in relation to them decades that have gone by. And it was policy to bring families through the court, and so be it. And I think the AG kind of report, I read it this morning, and I don't normally read kind of documents of that nature. You know, the government says it stands up legally, but I don't think it stands up morally. That families were denied in relation to care that should have been given to them. And I think there's a strategy by successive governments and the Department of Health to counter litigation. And that could have a huge detrimental effect to those families that have trying to seek, I suppose, justice and redress in relation to that issue. And families were shortchanged, there's no doubt about that. But also, I think, in the public interest, Minister, of the public realm, I think society was shortchanged in relation to all this issue, to say the least. And successive governments and ministers have put compensation and redress at arm's length. There's no doubt about that. When you look at this, when you take it, I say, you know, objectively, families that should have been given this care and should have been given this redress were kind of made sweat, and compensation was very, very difficult to obtain. And we've seen wrongs before, Minister, in this state, how people were brought through courts, and to say justice was arbitrary, well, that's an understatement. And where families let down, I think that's indisputable. Indisputable. Wherever the Attorney General says, wherever successive ministers said, wherever governments say at the moment, families were let down in their time of need. And when their time of need, when they needed that help in relation to care, that this is a kind of a simple kind of obligation by the state, they were made pay, both financially and in terms of hardship. So, Minister, I think there's still a huge amount of questions in relation to this issue. And I think families deserve that kind of, I suppose, them answers over not only the next 3 months, but over the lifetime of this government.